In March in China, GAC Aeon, their electric car brand, increased its sales by 190% versus the same month last year. Xpeng increased sales by 202% versus the same month last year. Li Auto was up 125%. Nita was up 270%. Leap Motor was up 410%. NIO was up a measly 28.5%. And Hycan was up an incredible 8,000%. I just saw car sales in China for March. Wow, this disruption is happening so quickly. It's truly incredible. It's like fast forward, speed motion going on here. Unbelievable, mind-blowing. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you here. Thank you for your support, subscribing to the channel. Fantastic to have you here. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, and thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my son's, my boys BMX channel. They are so stoked that you've done that. Now, I really appreciate your support. Now, China. Well, I've said to you what is going to happen in the global automotive market over the next decade. And there's a few things I think I've gotten wrong. One of those was Volkswagen being the equal second largest company in 2030. That was baloney. Now I realize that I was wrong on that. Why? Well, I'll tell you in just a minute. But legacy auto, right? China is the largest car market in the world by a big margin. It's much bigger than Europe. It's much bigger than the US. And guess what? It's growing. How is it growing? Well, the reality is there's 1.4 billion people living in China, and most of them don't have a car. However, the middle class are becoming bigger. So more and more people are able to then buy a car, right? However, in the US and Europe, we've pretty much reached peak car. There's not many more people who want to own a car that don't actually own one. Whereas in countries like China, there are literally hundreds of millions that want a car and don't have one. And as they increase their wealth levels and move up into that middle class, they're able to buy one. So the Chinese car market is clearly the most important market on the face of the planet for pretty much all automotive companies, in particular Volkswagen, who make 50% of their profit there. So what is going on in China? Legacy auto are literally, I don't know how to put this in language which isn't swearing because it's ridiculous. I'm just going to say nothing and just share with you the sales numbers. You've got to check this out. It's crazy. Okay. Top 15 best-selling automakers in March 2022. Volkswagen, with their joint venture with FAW, was in first place. However, they lost 40%, right? They're down 40% over the same month last year. Chang'an, Chinese car company, up 17%, right? 17% increase over the same month last year. BYD up 161% in third place. Fourth place, Geely, up 4%. GAC Toyota is up 27%. They're in fifth place, right? And here's where things start to get bad for legacy auto. SAIC Volkswagen down 35%. So now we find that Volkswagen are down 40% in their partnership with FAW, and they're down 35% in their partnership with SAIC. What about SAIC and General Motors? They're down 18% in 8th place. What about Nissan in their partnership with Dongfeng? Well, they're down 34% in 9th place. What about Tesla? They're up 85% into 11th place. And what about FAW Toyota, right? Well, they're down 17% after being down again in February as well to 12th place behind Toyota. Who would have thought that was possible? Crazy. What about Honda? Well, Honda used to be mighty and powerful in China. Not anymore. Their Acura brand just pulled out of China, period, because, well, they didn't sell any cars. Their numbers crashed through the floor. And GAC Honda are down 29% in addition to that at the same time. GAC Trumpchi, by the way, are up 54%. A lot of the cars they sell are electric. I think that's important to mention. What about Dongfeng Honda, Honda's other joint venture in China? Well, that one's down 37%. So there's only one legacy auto company that has actually increased its sales versus the incredibly affected COVID period pandemic time of the same month of March last year. That's Toyota. But that's only one of Toyota's JVs. That's up, right? Toyota's other joint venture is down massively. Legacy auto, yeah, they're pretty much dying a very fast death in China. It's kind of insane because it's happening in fast forward. Now, I said on this channel, and I've said numerous times this would happen, and it's happening this year pretty quickly, but it's happening a lot faster than I predicted. And I think realistically, by the time we get to 2025, legacy auto sales will have decreased probably around 80% in China based on what I'm seeing. That's my prediction. You know, I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be 90. I don't know, but I think 80 is probably a pretty fair number based on these declines, because these declines are really, really bad. In addition to that, the Chinese media is just going on about this, which is fine. They should. I mean, they should support their own industry. But the Chinese media is basically parroting what people in China believe. That is that EVs, legacy auto EVs made by Toyota, Honda, etc., they don't think they're very good. They think EVs made by Chinese car companies and Tesla and BYD, etc., are good, and you should buy those. And they think those are the future. So you tell me where you think the market will be in 2025. I think based on those two things, based on the trends we're seeing, based on the fact that now 20% of all cars sold in China are electric, and that figure is only going to increase dramatically over the course of the rest of this year and next year, we're going to see literally possibly the extinction of legacy auto in China by 2030. And maybe if not the extinction, they're not far off it. They'll certainly be an endangered species. That's scary. That is scary for legacy auto because they literally make billions and billions of dollars in China. Like I said, GAC Toyota is the only joint venture legacy auto brand to have year-on-year growth, which is incredibly surprising considering the fact that last year's pandemic affected first few months of the year. Should have been worse than the first few months of this year. So the market share of independent brands in China reached 49%, and that's a year-on-year increase of 9% so far. Now, interestingly, sedans and hatches are popular in China, and the top 4 best-selling sedans and hatches in China were: number 1, the Hongguang Mini EV; number 2, Sylphy; number 3, the Tesla Model 3; number 4, the BYD Chin. And, well, all of those are Tesla and Chinese only brands. So let's have a look at BYD, which have truly done something remarkable. People are crowing about the fact that Volkswagen, right, in 2020, 2.5% of all their cars sold were electric. In 2021, it was 5%, and people claim that was some massive achievement. Well, BYD went from making, what was it, about 40% of their cars were petrol or internal combustion engine gas-powered vehicles. In 2021, guess what? More than 85% were electric. So yeah, BYD came in third in China in March with 103,230 vehicles sold. That's a year-on-year increase of 164%. BYD sales in March were almost all contributed by electric vehicles. BYD sold 26,730 Song models, 24,800 of the Chin model, 12,881 of the Yen model, 12,360 of the Han, and 9,625 of the Tang. Now, obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of BYD. I have pre-ordered one. I'll put some links in the description below for my videos on those different models of BYD cars. I've done one on the Han and on the Yen and also on the EA1 or the BYD Dolphin, which I believe will be one of the biggest selling vehicles in the world within the next couple of years. So that's that. There's an update on what's going on in the Chinese car market. As you can see, because these legacy automakers didn't take electrification seriously, they decided that Chinese buyers would just see it as a fad and it wasn't something they needed to worry about. Well, that has signaled the decline and the inevitable death of their companies in China. I mean, most of these legacy auto companies still aren't planning on making EVs in China. It's truly shocking. What are they thinking? Thanks for watching the channel. I appreciate it, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.